just raise your hand high if you did not get a ticket. And just to get you guys excited, the first prize is 2 movie tickets, 2 AMC movie tickets. Just hold your hand, hold your hand high if you didn't get a ticket. High. You gotta stand up and do it. Stand over here. Taylor, are we good or no? Everybody has a ticket. Everybody has a ticket. 2 AMC movie tickets. 120221. 120221. You gotta raise your hand. Over here? Right here. Excellent. Two water blasters, not to be used here with lemonade or soda or anything like that. 120250. 250. 250. A bag of Swedish fish. 120224. 224. Oh, man. We have a kite. A kite. 120183. 120183. It's an octopus kite. That makes it better. Octopus kite. Two free movie passes. 120163. Starbucks gift card. $5 Starbucks gift card. 120192. 192. Come on up. Dunkin' Donuts card. Dunkin' Donuts 120195. Dunkin' Donuts. $25 B-Dubs. Or Cracker Barrel. Or Panera. 120188. 120188. 120188. Who is it? Nobody? 120. $25. 188. Raise your hand if you got it. Two more water blasters. 120. 203. 203. Okay, now we were told this is popular. You guys are weird if it is. Stainless steel straws. 120247. Is that you, buddy? 120247. Rachel Ward, the proud owner of stainless steel straw. Movie tickets, 120205. 120 right here. Price. Sour Patch Kids. 120151. Starbucks gift card 1702 120170. 120170. Antonio. Jingo. Who said that? 160. So 120160. Come on down. Okay. This is the last one, and we'll take a break. We'll give out some real awards. Hold on to your tickets because we got more to give away. Do not throw the tickets away. Slip and slide. 120161. 161. 120161. Okay, now, Mr. Getz. Okay, guys. Hey, before we give out the awards, I just want to say a few things. Just real quick. So this is, so I'm Jerry, I'm the president of the Booster. This is my last year. My daughter Megan is graduating. Yeah. So I just want to say thank you to the choir booster from this year, and I'm going to introduce next year. Before I introduce the regular board, I want to introduce my wife Jennifer. Okay, board, you just raise your hand or stand up. Debbie Alvarado, vice president. Kimmy Schindler is not here, she's the treasurer. Leanne Heatherton Ward is not here, she's the secretary. Charlotte Hampton, uniform. Carmen Heather is our manager. So just a real big thank you to Charlotte. Her daughter's graduating. Rachel, congratulations. Leanne Heatherton Ward, her daughter Rachel is graduating. Congratulations, Rachel. And now the new board. Debbie Alvarado, president. Joe Adolph, vice president. Tammy Schindler, treasurer. Jenny Brown, secretary. Monica Minot, uniform. And Carmen Heather. You guys, we really appreciate you letting us be a part of your year. It's been so special to me and my wife and to the whole board. Thank you very much. Congratulations on a fantastic year.
I'll piggyback on a little bit on what Jerry had mentioned there. The people that you saw, whose names you see in front of you now, and who kind of waved their hands at you a little bit, the amount of work that they put in is immeasurable. It really is. And the amount of hours that they're putting in outside of their normal jobs, outside of all of their expectations that they have at home and with families and things, is the only thing that allows us to be able to do the things that we do. So events like the Madrigal Dinner, events like concerts, events like tour, those aren't things that we could do without the support of parents. And so we really appreciate that work. If that's something that you know that you're interested in, there's of course a bunch of names that we didn't mention. This is just the executive board, but the people that are helping out at Madrigal Dinners, the people that are serving outside at concerts, that are chaperoning tour and those types of things, setting up sets and buying decorations and stuff is really impressive. I think from Mr. Hendrick and my experiences, and it's something something that, again, allows us to be able to do the work that we're able to do. We can really just concentrate on the building experiences for our students and not having to deal with a whole bunch of those other things that those parents are doing. So if that's something that you're even remotely interested in from a parent's perspective, there's lots and lots and lots of things that we could always use parent support for. And if you have a specific skill set of any kind whatsoever, we would love to find a way for you to use the gifts that you have to be able to benefit the experiences of your students and of the students in the entire choral program. So if that's something that you're ever interested in, you can talk to any of the people that you saw here, any of the people that waved their hands, or just show up to a booster meeting. We would love those things. If you just want to shoot us an email and say, hey, I'm really good at graphic design, or I'm really good at whatever else it happens to be, we would love to find ways to, that you can benefit your students. And then those types of things are also things that benefit not just the current students, but will continue to benefit students from here on. We still get to benefit from some of the work that our early Madrigal chairs had done to be able to build that into the process, and it works out really nicely. So from myself and from Mr. Hendricks, a huge thank you goes out to those parents and any of the parents that have dedicated themselves to helping out this year as well. So thank you so much for that. And with no further ado, now we'll get to the introduction.
Okay, everybody, hello. I am Mr. Hendricks. I'm the assistant choir director. And as you've shown up to our concerts this school year, you have seen one block of freshman students on stage, right? One freshman choir. However, during the school day, they do meet as two separate classes. Thank goodness, there's too many of them. So I teach 7th period freshman choir, and Mr. Getz teaches 8th period freshman choir. Since they function mostly on their own except for concerts, we do awards separately for these two classes, and we're going to begin with the Spirit Award for my freshman choir. This year, the Spirit Award for freshman choir for my period was nearly unanimous vote. It was easy when you looked at the polls to see who it was going to be, and I was not surprised at all, and nobody in my class would be surprised at all. The Spirit Award generally goes to somebody who is a cheerleader for the choir, somebody who shows up every single day with a positive attitude and just with energy, and who can manage to get other students pumped up and excited. And this student has done this by far more than anybody else in my freshman class. And also in extracurricular ensembles and just dedicating extra time outside of school to helping out with things. And that award, I'm very happy to say, goes to Ariana Mata. Get up here, Ariana. Not here tonight. We'll get this one to her later. Mata, get up here. Okay, she made it just in time. She likes dramatic entrances, I guess. Okay, and we'll move on to the second of our 3 awards for this class. The second award is Most Improved. This, I always tell my classes, this might sound like a backhanded compliment just a little bit. It is absolutely not that. It's not intended that way. That is not what it actually is. Talent is not a factor at all in the Most Improved award category. It's 100% about work ethic, hard work, putting in hours to improve the people around you. The student who won this year has been an anchor in our baritone section in my period, and has been really helpful as we help to develop those young guy voices. And that goes to Trevor Salutric. And last but not least, for Hendricks Freshman Choir is the MVP Award. The most valuable person, is that what we're going with? performer, most valuable performer. This is, when I explain this to my students, I say, who do you think encaptures what it really means to be an amazing freshman choir member, right? For this specific class, who is the kind of idyllic, who's always on task, who's somebody who shows leadership in their class, and again, encaptures some of these other qualities that the other students have as well, encourages others. Again, this was a really easy choice in our choir, and it was a really high percentage of votes. This award this year goes to Aaron Bales.
As Mr. Hendricks had mentioned there, our two ensembles meet completely separately. So they have different directors. We do the same music, but they have different directors, they have different students, they meet different periods, which means that the dynamic of each of those, not to make a musical punch, but the dynamic of each one of those ensembles is very different. So the personalities are different, and the way that that ensemble works is very different. So it's always interesting to get to kind of interact with both of those ensembles and to see the ways that they're unique, see the ways that they excel, and that they struggle, which is different. And that makes it really interesting, I think, for Mr. Hendricks and I, that as we're planning music, as we're planning the events for freshman choir, is to kind of be able to balance that between both ensembles. This year's choir for me was one that started out actually pretty low key, and then is not anymore. And now almost invariably, because I talk too much, then they talk too much, and it's really good. But they're a group that's really energetic, that's really excited about music making, that always has an interesting take on things, and is incredibly musical. It's a group that we've been really impressed with, I think, in that regard. And I think that there's some real genuine leaders in this. When we have the Spirit Award that's going to be first, this is somebody that, not just in terms of being very positive influence on the ensemble, is also somebody that is constantly offering constructive criticism, new ideas, new concepts, a very quick hand that is always going to be coming up, and is somebody that I think is always a really positive impact on the ensemble, and that is Tamara Lee. I also think it bears mentioning, and we didn't specifically mention it before, but these are student selected awards. So these are things that their peers are selecting them for, that it's not just the things that Mr. Hendricks and I are able to see, but the things that their peers are able to see. So these are leaders in their ensembles in their peers' eyes, and certainly I think also in literally every single circumstance. There's not a single award that I even remotely disagree with, and I'm really excited about each of the ones that the students selected. But it's really nice for us, from our perspective, to be able to see that the students are seeing the same things that we are, that they're respecting the same people, that they're seeing the same work and effort in these ways. I really like it when there are ties, and that means that I get to buy 2 awards, and also get to honor 2 students. And so the 2 that are going to be here, it works out nicely. It's 1 girl and 1 guy. And both of these are actually pretty quiet in their ensembles. Not vocally, certainly, but are people that are quieter people that are going to lead and are going to grow kind of on their own and a little bit more introverted in these ways. You wouldn't know that necessarily from having a conversation with them outside of class, though. But those 2 people have grown a lot this year. I think they're going to do fantastic things next year. And as Mr. Hendricks said, this is not in any way a backhanded compliment. Both of these students started out being incredibly proficient, incredibly excellent vocalists, really intelligent about their music making, but have grown leaps and bounds, and that is Sophia Vicious and Noah Meek.
Charlotte. I think everyone was
All right, we also had a tie for my freshman choir's MVP. I promise this isn't rigged in any way whatsoever. I promise that we don't have anything to do with it. It just works out that way. And but I'm really glad that it did work out this way because I think that in completely different ways, these two individuals have absolutely led their ensemble this year. And again, in completely different ways. One is very vocally extroverted, is somebody that is going to lead by example, is going to be somebody that is always going to be the first one to get the note right, is always going to be somebody that is going to be driving that rhythm and making everyone around her very, very, very comfortable. And then the second one is somebody that is just going to go about her business, is going to get the job done, is really involved in a lot of different organizations in the choral program, and is doing a lot of work behind the scenes that I'm so glad that some of her peers have acknowledged as well, because there's a lot of work in this one student's perspective of her just sitting in Hendrick's office filing music for hours upon hours upon hours. And those two are Charlotte Vollmer and Skylar Ross. Concert choir has been really unique this year, and almost universally only in positive ways. And I've been directing concert choir for quite a few years now, and the past couple of years, this is the third year that we've used it as a treble ensemble, and that was some growing pains that we went through in that regard. And every year since, they've grown as musicians, they've grown in their connections with one another, they've grown in their maturity level, they've grown in their performance, and this is, I can say without a doubt, this is the best concert choir that I have ever directed, ever, in all the years that I've been here. So that's no question for me in any way whatsoever. And I've been directing concert choir for, in this format for 3 years, and before that in a bunch of years, but this is the best one that I've been a part of. And it's not just because I think that they're really confident musicians and they're making great music and I think they're really not just thoughtful about it, but it's really deep, and I can see that they're making music that really means something to them. And that is really nice I think, from a choir director's perspective. So it's been awesome to work with them this year, and certainly with these exceptional students. So in the Spirit Award first. Spirit Award, this is another, it's kind of similar. There was another tie, I promise there's only one tie in this group. But it was two students, again, that worked in very different ways. One that is going to be, again, a quiet leader, which I think is kind of nice. And you wouldn't think of that as a Spirit Award, but this is the most positive person that you're going to encounter. If any of you had the chance to speak with her today, I don't know that she's ever not smiling. I don't know that she's ever not excited about it and is just making everyone around her better. And then the next is not just a leader in her group, but is always going to say, hey, music is awesome, and I'm going to go at it today, scarily intensely sometimes. And it makes me a little bit scared. But those two are our quiet leader, and our extrovert is Brooke Ferris and Matt Diablo. For most improved, it's always interesting when, with the most improved, how the students are going to vote in this regard. I think in most of the other circumstances, I've got an idea of the people that they're going to be selecting. And this year I was like, man, so many of these kids have grown so much. I wonder who the students are going to select. And as soon as I started to kind of count up the votes, immediately I was like, that was the one. They're way smarter than I am. It didn't immediately come to my brain, and as I started to think about it, it blew me away. So early on in the year, this had happened. I'll tell you a little bit of a story that will give you some perspective of the student. I really like to put my students on the spot in class and to make them step out of their comfort zone sometimes. And if they're going to do it in front of, like Big Show on Saturday, if they're going to do it in front of 900 people, they first have to be able to do it in front of the people that are around them. And so sometimes I'll have them demonstrate a small example, sometimes I'll have them sight read, just individually in front of their classes. And it was the first time that I've really tried this out with the concert choir. And I thought the student, when I called on her, was going to faint. And it built up and it built up, and she gave me a look like, that's not going to happen. Like, this is not going to happen. And by the end of the year, she was auditioning for solos and stepping up in her section, and I think blew me away. And how I had kind of like forgotten about that one when I was looking at the award voting. I don't know. She's grown so much, and I think is really now a foundational element of the soprano section, and that is Abby Miller. Anybody that has interacted with concert choir at all in the past couple of years knows who the next award is going to go to. And it is, she's absolutely the driving force with everything in the in the concert choir. She's incredibly positive, she's a really talented vocalist, she's a really excellent leader. She's also incredibly empathetic, and I think that that's something that's really important about concert choir, because we have a really diverse set of students that are involved in this. Some students that have been in concert choir for their third year, some that are there for maybe just their first semester or their second semester. Some people that have been singing since they were very, very, very small, and some people that are just starting out their musical journey. And to be able to kind of rationalize and to be able to connect all of those diverse groups is a really important thing. And if it's not done properly, either on my part or the student's part, then it creates a lot of conflicts and it makes it difficult to make music. And this is the person that I know, if I'm not there, if I'm out of the room, if I'm not thinking about it that day, is going to take care of all of those things for me. It's going to do so thoughtfully, it's going to do so sensitively, and all the while being really positive about it. In addition, she's also somebody that is working very tirelessly outside of her ensemble to make the entire choral program better. She's a member of the ECC and is working really hard on that one as well. And I'm excited to announce that the MVP for concert choir is Kenna Morissette.
And we will take a quick break from awards for more raffle tickets. Here's Jerry. Okay, and we're going to move on to Mixed Choir Awards. This year, I had just a wonderful time. I just had a wonderful time with Mixed Choir this school year. We changed to being the first period of the day, as opposed to being in the middle of the day, which in my opinion was a positive change. There's a little bit less energy in that room at the beginning of the school day in a helpful way. There's also a lot of testosterone in that room, so that kind of helps to calm the kids down. So Mixed Choir always, last year and this year, both years, just always has a ton of energy, and sometimes that can go in negative directions, but a lot of the time that goes in a really positive direction towards our music. It gets focused into singing with energy, singing with intention, and that's something that I really appreciate about Mixed Choir. There are so many big personalities in that ensemble that it's some of the voting for this could have gone in so many different directions, and I'm really happy with how it turned out here. So the Spirit Award for Mixed Choir this year is a tie. It goes to two different students. both just such clear spirit leaders in our class in both, well, I would say in your face ways. They're both high energy all the time, right there, ready to encourage other students. One of them does it with, I would say, a lot of spunk. That's what I would say. Does it with a lot of attitude, does it with a lot of individual personality, and they're just constantly bringing like 100% energy to the class. The other one is commonly referred to as the choir mom for mixed choir, who is regularly, well, she always knows what to do. She always knows what I've been asking the ensemble to do and does anything that's in her power to make sure the other students around are doing that as well. And I think probably, 10 times this year has given inspirational talks to the ensemble without me asking. So those two awards go to Emily Bayo and Anise Pocket. I couldn't be happier to give the most improved award for mixed choir to this student this year. I don't think I've met a single person in my entire life who enjoys singing more than this person. Regularly, on almost every single day, this student will approach me after class to ask me about something that they saw in the music, maybe something that we haven't even gotten to in the piece of music yet, but to say, ooh, that's like, I see that note coming up, I see this that's going to be happening, I'm excited about that, and to ask me questions. Mixed choir is going to cheer real loud when I announce this name. I know that for a fact. Everyone just roots so hard for this person who works amazingly hard for the class and for the choir program as a whole, and that is Christopher Alvarado. And our final award for mixed choir is the MVP. This is somebody who excels musically, is very proficient in understanding music theory, in understanding of not only just vocal technique ideas, but also in other instruments as well, in ways that can be really helpful as a musical leader. This student was also a section leader for us in mixed choir this school year, and has been really helpful in helping me actually teach notes and to the ensemble as we're in the learning process. This is somebody who, across the choir program, I think students look to them as a leader, somebody who kind of sets the tone for how things are going to go, and they've been involved this year heavily with the Executive Choir Council as well. You can see there's so many ways that they're involved in the program, and it's been very helpful. And that award goes to the Mixed Choir President this year, Tyler Dooley.
Did you get a picture of Christopher?
Bel Canto.
He was standing like
I've been very impressed with Bel Canto this year. They, every single concert, I've kind of been looking for a new piece to challenge them, something that could possibly be just beyond their reach of doing successfully, but something that I feel pretty confident usually that they're going to get to. And every time they've not only got to that point, but they've kind of blown it out of the water, and it's been amazing. It's really been a thrill for me choosing music for them and leading in the rehearsal process. So many of the students in Bel Canto just show a great sense of maturity most of the time. and a really nice understanding of like what it means to interact with other people and to be on task during concerts. That was exactly where they're going to be and when and how they're going to be lined up. It's fabulous. It's a real pleasure for me and the day to have their class. And our first award is the Spirit Award, which again is a tie. We have these mixed in occasionally because it's too close to call sometimes, and there's people who deserve to be recognized. As usual, these are two fairly outspoken students in the class. If I ask a question, it could be anything. It could be, how was your day? It could be, what notes are in a major triad? It could be anything music theory, about talking about what music means, anything. These students often are going to be some of the first ones to comment, or regularly this one will happen. I'll say, we'll read through a piece of music and I'll say, how'd that go? And one of these two will say, good. Everyone else is quiet, but they actually respond to me. You know what I'm talking about? So we usually get the quiet classroom where I don't know if they actually heard anything that I said the last 30 minutes, but these people help me to realize that's what's happening. They bring tons of energy to everything that they do and just 100% cheerleaders for the class. They're in the same section, they share the same name, they spell it differently. Sarah Calvert and Sarah Padilla. And the Most Improved Award for Bel Canto. This is somebody who is relatively new to choir, who joined us partway through her high school career and has just jumped through the program and got involved in so many different ways and has really impressed both me and Mr. Getz with her singing ability, with her vocal abilities, and of course with her leadership abilities as well. She's gone from being involved in a curricular choir to involved in, I'm gonna, without counting off the top of my head, say maybe 4 or 5 choirs this year that she's been singing with. And every single section that she's in, she's just an anchor for that section. And she puts a lot of time in after school to get to that point as well. And I'm very happy to announce that that is Leah James. The MVP this year for mixed choir is yet again somebody who... Bel Canto. For Bel Canto is yet again somebody who does too much, probably, right? Who is involved in many, many choirs, dedicates hours and hours to each of those choirs, and really involved in drama. We have a lot of students who split time between those two programs, and it's very, very impressive to me how they manage to do that with grace and with conflicting schedules. And I think it leads to a lot of probably sleepless nights, doing homework late at night and not getting a lot of rest. This student wears her emotions on her sleeve, I would say, in a way that really allows her to emote beautifully while she's singing, and in a way that encourages others to be more open about how they're feeling and about how they relate to music themselves as well. And she's been a really positive presence in our class this year overall. Also heavily involved in our in our student leadership program in the Executive Choir Council, and I'm always happy to give awards to future music educators. So that would be Maisie Steele.
All right, my turn again. It's been a incredibly busy, incredibly successful year this year for the a cappella choir. I've mentioned it at a couple of different events, so I won't go into great detail, but the a cappella choir is, by almost any metric that you could come up with, is, and I don't say this because I direct them, is one of the definitely top 3 or 4 ensembles in the state of Illinois. And that's, again, that's not me saying that, that is my colleagues, that is the state of Illinois, that is based on all of the things that they've been able to accomplish this year and all of the great effort that they put in. We kind of set out I set out the task for them at the very end of last year when we kind of figured out where everybody was going to be. I said, hey, I just want to let you guys know that we've got this huge, incredibly intensive and complicated and important performance, probably the most important performance that any ensemble in the state of Illinois can really have. And I said, I'm going to throw a lot of music at you, and it's going to be difficult, and it's going to be diverse, and it's going to be complex. And they took it and ran with it. They really did. And the amount of effort that they put in, both inside of class and outside of class, the way that they drew together, not just as musicians, but as people, the relationships that they built with one another, was really impactful. I know to my colleagues that had the privilege of seeing them perform this year at the state convention, and when I say this, I mean it literally. I'm still, as in 2 or 3 days ago, still getting emails and phone calls about their performance there, and people describing to me how impactful that was to them. And a lot of that comes down to not just what they're going to be doing musically, but the people that they are. And I think that's one of the beautiful things about music is that it's scary. It certainly is when you're going to emote on a stage, that you kind of lay yourself bare and you say, and this is who I am, and this is what I sound like, and this is my voice, and this is an innermost part of me, and it's a scary thing to do. And I think this year in particular, Lockport Township High School as a whole has taken a step in the right direction in that regard, but definitely the a cappella choir, and I know that everything from amazing big pats on the backs and high fives and things to a strange woman that came up and said after the performance, this is a day afterwards, and she said, I have been crying for the past 36 hours. And I said, okay. And then she's like, thank you so much. And then she gave me a hug that was too long, and then she kissed me on the cheek, and then she patted me on the head, and then she walked away. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I have no idea who that lady was at all. And so thanks for that, ACAP. But all of those things, I think that it goes a long ways to kind of show, I think, the people that they are, and that everybody that had the privilege of being able to see that performance, I know, came away different than they had gone in. And it was something that I was really excited. It was something that I was really excited to be a part of. Actually, one of my favorite moments of that performance was just getting to sit in the audience and watch Hendrix conduct them, and getting to just be an audience member and to just enjoy and to watch the work that my colleague gets to do with them and that my students get to perform. It's a real thing I cherish at concerts, when I get to watch bel canto and freshmen and mixed and things. And I'm not doing any work, but I get to kind of experience that. But I think ACAP took a really big step in that regard this year as well. So it's really nice that I get to honor a couple of individuals within this ensemble, and I think all of these are actually not surprises at all, but I'm really excited. They're things that I didn't know if again the students were going to recognize in this way. And first, there was actually a tie for Spirit of Work. Again, I really like it when there are ties, because we did get to acknowledge multiple students. It's actually 2 guys this time, and in completely different ways. There is one that is, and you'll know which is which in a couple of seconds here. There's one that always has a comment and is the loudest person in the room, and sometimes that's a great thing, and sometimes not. And so, but a great leader and is super energetic about music. And to be honest with you, when this person first came into the program, it's a senior, and when he first came into the program, I was like, where is all of that going to go? Like, is he going to point it in the right direction? And is he going to point it in the right direction? Is he going to be able to focus that? And I can say without a doubt that he has. And then the other gentleman is somebody that is always positive in any scenario, is a smile on his face and is going to be energetic about it and just excited about everything and really, I think, warm and inviting personality there as well. And those two are Stephen Kowalewski and Trevor Schindler. That was good.
Last year, siguro yan. That was last year. Ba yun? I think that was last year. What happened? Good job.
Did it not? It was,
Is that the last year one? That's the last year one.
I swear I changed. I swear I checked this. I just okay. The next for most improved. This is in no way again a backhanded compliment, and we've mentioned that a couple of times. But I mean, everybody will know. I think everybody knew who this person was going to be if they really thought about the acapella choir this year as well. And I'm so excited that this person has grown into the musician that they are. I think what's interesting about it is that if you had told me 12 months ago that this person's name was going to be there, I would have been really excited. I also would have been amazed. And not because I don't think that this student is talented, or that they're hardworking, or that they're dedicated, but the amount of times that I would interact with this student last year. And it could be about anything. And when I say anything, I legitimately mean anything. And then I would say their name, and it could be because they were... It could be because they had missed a note, or that they were supposed to be standing somewhere else, or because they were on fire. And I could say their name, and their response 100% of the time was, "What? Huh?" If you had told me that the student, that 100% of the time in every interaction that I had with them, his first response was "What?" was 12 months later going to be one of the most dedicated musicians in the ensemble, and just as importantly, an all-state musician. I don't know that I would have believed it, and I think, and it wasn't ever because it was an issue in the previous years. This is a student that I always trusted and that I always respected, but to be able to see the growth that they've taken in such a short amount of time makes me really excited to get to see where that is going to continue to grow. And I know that it's going to, and I am excited then to announce most improved is Bryce. So all of these apparently didn't get changed from last year for the acapella choir. That's really good. Hey, I'm doing it. Yeah, let's go 3 for 3. I'm going to be honest with you. I have no idea what's going to happen on the next one. I know who actually won it. I have no idea what's going to happen on the next one. So congratulations. Maybe Mel and Alvarado. I don't know. We'll find out. We'll find out in a couple of seconds. I'm the worst. I think this one, one of the nice things in the acapella choir is that in all of the awards we have everybody vote for 2, and that allows them that if they think maybe they're the best person for the award, they can certainly vote for themselves. And they can also vote for somebody else that they think is applicable. And I have no problem with that. When you think that you're the best person for the award, then by all means vote for yourself. It also allows people that maybe are in between 2 individuals that are great leaders, or that have grown a lot, or that are great Spirit Award recipients, that they're able to kind of split those votes just a little bit. And what I think is always interesting is of the 26 people that are in the acapella choir, about 2/3 of them received votes from someone. And I think that that's something that's really exciting for me, is to be able to see that there's lots of leaders in the program, but almost every person in the ensemble, and I think this is interesting, almost every person in the ensemble voted at least first or second for this person as well. except for her, who voted for two completely different people. And I think that humility is part of why I think her peers respect her as a leader, because she's not going to be the person that's going to step out and say, hey, look at me, but it's going to get the job done, and is one of the finest musicians in the school, and is absolutely one of the finest musicians in the state, and that is Claudia Bogart. All right, Jared, we're going to take one more break. It's all you.
Sydney Kumar.
Jerry wants to take a picture. Sharon Hampton.
Debbie.
Last but not least, your president, my president, Mr. Jerry Staley. One more big round of applause, please.
All right, we want to take a quick second here and just kind of recognize the efforts that students do outside of class. And so we have mentioned this before about all of the efforts that the students are going to put during the actual school day. So fourth period, second period, whatever it happens to be, the actual efforts that they're going to do as part of their curricular class. But many of these students are crazy enough that after spending an hour with us a day, or in some cases 2 hours, or in some cases 3 hours, that they're going to say, hey, you know what would be a great idea? I should probably spend a couple more hours in the choir room. And so for some of those students, just to put this in a little bit of perspective, if you were, let's say, if you were a guy who was in the Madrigal Choir and Men's Ensemble and Off the Record, that means that you get to spend something like an extra 10 hours a week with me, which is a terrifying thing for you. And so, but it does show the dedication that those students have to music making and to pleasing audiences, and also to the connections that they're able to make with each other. I think that's the thing that we enjoy most, is being able to see the friendships that are made and the connections that students are able to make with one another. First and foremost, we'll go through these pretty quickly as well. The Madrigal Choir had an incredibly successful season this year as well. In addition to all of the extra community performances and performing at concerts, obviously they also put on the Madrigal dinners. And this was the first year, I keep telling them, if they would just sing a little bit worse, then fewer people would come, and then we wouldn't have to continue to add performances. Yeah, continually continue. Then, so this year we actually had to add a fourth performance just because of the work that the Madrigal Choir, as well as the next actually 3 ensembles up there have been doing as well. But we were really excited for the growth of that program, for the growth of that ensemble, and all the dedication that those students have put in. So if the Madrigal Choir would stand for me and be recognized. Next, Men's Ensemble, which during first semester kind of functions as troubadours, which is an all-guys group that performs at the Madrigal Dinners and sings the dumbest songs that you have ever heard, and at least one a year. I've got an idea for one for next year, and I'm already disappointed in myself. And so, but then during second semester turns into kind of the pop ensemble that you guys got to see on Saturday as well. This has been a group that has grown a lot in the time that I have been here, and it's mostly just because of the work that the students have done. That the students that are a member of this one, many of the people who are seniors now or juniors now, kind of started out as younger musicians and said, "Hey, we're going to make this something that actually matters. We're going to sing well. We're going to be dedicated to it." And now it's hugely successful. That I this year for the first time said, "Hey, if we're going to be able to perform this concert, we got to start meeting 2 times a week." And every single one of them was like, "Okay, yeah, that's it. Let's do this." And sometimes even when there'd be conflicts and stuff, they're like, "No, we feel like we should still probably have rehearsal. I think we're going to all show up." And then I would just walk into the choir room at 5:30, and there'd be 20 guys standing there like ready to go. And so it's been something that's been exciting for me to get to direct. I'm really excited for what it's going to turn into next year. I still am not comfortable with the name that they chose for themselves, which is Fortisa Bros. You guys couldn't see this because you're looking in this direction, but you all threw your hands up, and every parent in the room rolled their eyes. So that's good. It's terrible. It's terrible. It's not even a good pun. But I'm really excited for where they're going to go from here on out, and I'm excited for. I'll say this: that next year. At Lockport Township High School, we have more guys enrolled in choir than have ever been enrolled in choir at Lockport Township High School ever. And interestingly enough, and again, when I started out here, it was if you had a Y chromosome and a pulse, we were just gonna like die to have you. It was gonna be the best thing ever. Like we were just looking for any bass and tenor. It didn't matter if they matched pitch. It didn't matter if they were a serial killer. If they could just please join choir. And it's nice to now say that we have phenomenal musicians, incredibly dedicated. This year we had, we'll talk about this in a second, we had 3 guys that made All-State. I'm really excited for the growth that the guys in this program have taken. And because of ensembles like this, and I honestly do believe that it's because of ensembles like men's ensembles, it's after school, but feeds directly into the work that they do during the day. There are 2 ensembles next year, both mixed choir and ACAP next year, have more guys than girls. Yeah! You're graduating, you won't be here. Do you remember a little bit ago when I talked about how it was loud? That was it. But so we're really excited about that one. So if all of the men's ensemble troubadours guys would stand up.
Our next 2 ensembles, Troubadours and Minstrels, are groups that I have the pleasure of directing, and they're both involved with our Madrigal Dinners as well. Troubadours is a group that's been standing for a while as a part of the Madrigal Dinners, and Minstrels is a group that we just added this year because there's so much interest in being a part of the Madrigal Dinners. It's such a positive experience for so many of our students that we just needed to find a way to get more kids involved. We're continuing to kind of work on developing the role that these 2 groups play. At the moment, they function as separate ensembles, but they do serve a very similar role within the dinner. So I'm going to kind of describe them together. Both of these groups sing a number of pieces during the Madrigal Dinner as their own solo pieces and a couple songs together even. And also they are just crucial to the success of the dinner as a whole, as they are the ones who do the serving of the food and interacting with the guests about as much as anybody does there, and make sure that the guests are having a good time. And occasionally have to deal with a grumpy guest who's mad about something, and they usually do that with a lot of grace. It is a difficult job. You have to wear a lot of different hats if you are in Troubadours and Minstrels, and I'm regularly impressed by the way that they handle it. Especially watching those people who are new to it new to Magical Days in general. The first night, they really have no idea what's about to happen to them in the next few hours that first night, and then they come out of it with this kind of usually crazy look in their eyes, a little bit energetic, and it's like, I can't believe what just happened. I was terrified. I'm exhilarated right now. That was amazing. It's a really cool experience, and it's so fun for me to see how individuals bond with one another who haven't gotten to know each other yet at that early point in the school year. So, such a pleasure for me. And let me please recognize first the True Bears. Would you guys stand if you're in True Bears this year? And if you are in our new ensemble of minstrels this year, would you please stand as well? Our last three ensembles are all groups that function in the contemporary music world, generally doing pop music. I direct two of these ones, so we'll go to Grace Notes next. This is a group that I think is very important to the choir program as a whole. Because, again, just so many kids who want to be heavily involved in the choir program and who want to do something outside of just being in choir during the school day. And this is such an awesome opportunity for kids, especially I think students who have a difficult time with juggling other extracurricular activities that they have. This is a fairly low commitment ensemble, and it's very casual. It's generally a bit of a rolling roster, so that if somebody has the scheduled time available to sing with Grace Notes for one concert and not for the other one, that's something that's going to be okay with us, whereas it might not work as well for other ensembles. Every single concert basically do like 2 pop songs, and we'll rehearse, have a good time, and really goof off a lot, and just have a fun time on stage singing. So if you're in Grace Notes this year, would you stand?
So 3 years ago, I went to a couple of students that were in an extracurricular ensemble at the school and said, hey, so I've got this idea, and I want to try something new. And I said, how about if this Friday, we all get in a Porter bus and drive to DeKalb High School, and I want you guys to take a look at something and see what you think. So they said, okay. And we drove to DeKalb High School and saw in person for most of those students for the first time what contemporary a cappella was. And they left, even those students that are going to be graduating, and said, yeah, that's the thing that we need to do next year. Like, that's what we're going to do. That's how we're going to make that work. And so the following year, we tried it out a little bit. We tried to kind of sing in that style. And the year after that, we competed and took 4th at our quarterfinal. And then this year, they really stepped up again. And in a really, really, really difficult quarterfinal, took 3rd this year. And took 3rd actually while they were in Normal, Illinois, while I was in New Lenox at Silver Cross Hospital because my wife gave birth that morning. And so I got to watch their amazing performance, but I got to watch it on FaceTime from someone's cell phone, which was super exciting. But I was so impressed with the fact that as I explained that this was likely going to be the case, they didn't flinch, and they said, no, this is something that we're gonna do, we're gonna make this happen. And every time that I've thrown anything at them and said, hey, we're gonna try this now. And by the way, oh yeah, hey, these 2 or 3 people, these 2 people, you're choreographing everything this year. And hey, you're going to, I went up to a couple of students and said, hey, you're gonna beatbox this year. And all of those students stepped up and just said, all right, this is going to be my role, and this is the way that I'm going to do it, and this is how I'm going to go about that. And so there's a lot of amazing student leaders in this group, and for all of those students to, without the director there, still put on the performance that they did. And to put that in a little bit of perspective for you, they were 3rd in their quarterfinal, but they were 4th in the state of Illinois. And so there were only 3 groups in the state of Illinois that scored higher than they did. And I was just really impressed with the work that they did, and really excited to see where that ensemble is going to go in the future as well. And with that said, if the members of Off the Record would stand.
Vocal Point is our other contemporary a cappella ensemble. This is a treble ensemble that, well, it kind of had been a thing a number of years ago, even before I was around, and it used to be called Ladies Ensemble, and then it had been a little bit, and when I showed up last year, Getz and I decided it was time to get that going again, and to rebrand as Vocal Point, which was the name that the ensemble came up with. But I've had a great time this year with Vocal Point. I think we've learned a lot about what it means to be a contemporary a cappella ensemble. I've been happy to see some really wonderful burgeoning pop soloists this year who have done an awesome job for us, and we've kind of taken our first steps into doing a little bit of choreography as well. It's been a fun experience for me to kind of dip my toes into the contemporary a cappella world. And also I think for those students to get into that. And I've kind of hinted at this with my students before as well, but I haven't officially committed to it. I think I'll have to bind myself to that right now. Next year we're also going to try to compete at the same competition as Off the Record. And we're going to crush Off the Record. No, so we're really, I'm excited about that, and I hope that Vocal Point students are as well. Also, shout out to Mickey who jumped in and did some beatboxing for us. Would the Vocal Point students and Mickey please stand?
Hello, I'm Claudia. I'm the ECC president. So as this is the first year that we've had an executive choir council, we came in not knowing exactly how it would look like and how it would work, and it's still a big work in progress, but as the year has gone by, we've tried to find projects to work on. For example, the social committee has done a lot of work in preparing and organizing the masquerade ball, which is a big success, and for all of you returning, I hope it's an even bigger success next year. And the concert committee also spent many hours setting up risers and the band shells. And microphones, and then taking it all down, so that was a big help. And in general, we've tried to just keep spirits high and make sure that there's like unity between all of the choirs. And so next year, I hope all of you guys get involved and just bring fresh ideas and join the committees so that we could just make the choir program better and more unified. So if all of the executive choir council members could stand for recognition.
One quick word about that one as well. Again, Hendrix and I will sometimes have crazy ideas. We often have crazy ideas, but we'll sometimes have crazy ideas that we just decide kind of on a whim, hey, we're going to try this out this year. And one of the things I think that is really impressive for us is that we built up a little bit of a framework of an idea, took it to the students, and then they ran with it. And when I say that these students are, the students that just stood, all of them are in extracurricular ensembles, all of them are in curricular ensembles, and then all of them agreed, just like, oh yeah, we'll show up at 7:30 a.m. so that we can do some extra stuff as well. Yeah, let's do that. That would be great. And so the amount of effort that those students and so many other students are putting in is really amazing. I think it's inspirational for us, and it makes our job a lot easier in that regard as well. Moving on now. We have the IMEA District 1 choir selections. And I've discussed this at a lot of different events and concerts, so I won't spend a lot of time on it as well. But I will mention this, that it's an incredibly elaborate and intense audition process. They have, it's incredibly selective. We are in the largest of any of the districts in Illinois. And when I say large, I don't mean geographically, I mean there are more students that audition in our district than any other district. And in some cases, more students will audition in our district than in 2 or 3 other districts in the state. And even with that said, this year, Lockport Township High School had more people make the district ensemble than any other school in the state of Illinois. And and that is something that the individual students are putting in those efforts. I try to guide and help them during their curricular classes, but that's something that students are putting in time outside of class that they're doing on an individual basis. And so it's something that they should be very, very, very proud of. And for any of those students that participated, including the freshmen, at the district festival, I'll have you stand in a second. My favorite, one of my favorite memories of this year was we were at Oak Park River Forest High School, and everybody was wearing the same robes. And I had them awkwardly like pre-prom pictures. They all stood on some stairs, and my favorite was that there was someone else that said, "Is that all one school?" And I said, "Yes, Lockport Township High School. Lockport Township High School, not Lyons Township. Lockport Township High School. That's what the LTHS says. It's those kids are from Lockport." And they were like, "Whoa." Yeah, whoa is right. If you guys would, whoa, stand. And then out of those students, as difficult as it is to make the district ensemble, it is that much more difficult to make the all-state ensemble. And this year we actually had 5 students make the all-state choir. These are the absolute best vocalists in the state of Illinois. They're coming from the most difficult district and are getting to then qualify for the state as well. And if those students would stand. And now we're going to go through, so everything kind of up to this point has been things that individual students have selected, or that individual students that have been selected by their peers. And now we want to take the opportunity to select freshmen, sophomore, junior, and senior students that we have seen go above and beyond this year, that are, regardless of ensemble, regardless of experience, regardless of voice part, we wanted to recognize a small amount of students in each one of those grades that we think are the most exceptional, that we've really respected the work that they put in, the leadership that they've shown, the musicianship that they've shown, and I think just the people that they are. And so we'll start off first with our freshman awards, and we actually have one from Mr. Hendrick's choir and one from mine. I'll let him say a couple of words about his, and then I will. Yeah.
Great. Okay, so the student who we chose for this award from my freshman class is somebody who goes above and beyond, is somebody who puts about as much work into her musical skills as any other student in the entire LTHS program, I think, including not just what she does during class, but going to take lessons outside of school, going to study music theory outside of school, going to study other instruments, and really becoming a really well-rounded and superb musician. And she's been a wonderful leader vocally in our soprano section in the 7th period freshman choir, and we're very happy to present this award to her. And then we're gonna let him talk about his freshman choir award before we reveal that one, I guess.
Because they're together, sorry. And I have a young man in my freshman choir that really stepped up this year. To be honest, I I didn't know what to expect this year. I had a really energetic group of guys that came in and didn't exactly know how they were going to develop. And this is one student that I thought absolutely needs to be recognized. Was certainly recognized by many of his peers, but certainly needed to be recognized by us. And a phenomenal musician. I'm really excited to get to see what he's going to do. And those two are Amelia Jerzik and Henry Sikowski. This is always a difficult award because for sophomores, this is really when they're first starting to find themselves as musicians, and so there's a lot of students that I could have selected here, and I mean a lot of students. And so when we sat down, Mr. Hendricks and I really thought about this one for a long time. We discussed it a lot, saying, all right, well, it could be this person, it could be this person, it could be this person, and I think that there is one person that that I think in terms of there have been lots of phenomenal leaders, lots of phenomenal people, but there's one person that I think in terms of success in their art and growth in their art kind of went above and beyond. We just acknowledged a couple of seconds ago all of the students that had made All-State, and this is somebody that actually made it as a sophomore, which means that as a sophomore that they are beating out literally hundreds, and when I say hundreds I mean hundreds of other students. It's going to make the All-State Ensemble, and this year's outstanding sophomore is Aiden Callahan. We're fortunate to have a lot of outstanding students, and this is one that very quickly from their freshman year kind of rose to the top, and was somebody that I think anybody that interacted with this student immediately knew this person is somebody to keep an eye on, and they're going to do great things. Anytime that I've thrown anything at the student, they have risen to the task. This year I threw a couple of unique tasks at the student and said, hey, I want you to try this one out. And not only did they put all of their effort into it, but amazingly succeeded. And that is both, whether it be what she's doing in choir, whether it be what she's doing in extracurricular ensembles, whether it be the characters that she's playing in a musical, whether it be absolutely anything, whether it be me saying, hey, do you remember last year when you rolled your eyes at me when I asked you to do some choreography? And now that's your job. So, and she said, okay, and then killed it. And so I was really impressed with that one. Is also an All-State musician and has been an All-State musician now for her second year. And we expect the same thing next year. And that is Natalie Manson. You guys couldn't see it, but she rolled her eyes when I said that she rolled her eyes. So that's. And now we want to recognize all of our seniors. So these are student. I'm the worst. I'm the worst person on earth. I'm the worst person on earth. Okay. So here's what we'll do. When you get called in a couple of seconds here, if you guys will come on up front, the boosters have a small gift for you that we would like to give, and then just go ahead and stay here so that we can get we can recognize you as an entire class. And here we go. I'll let Mr. Hendricks read those off.
So again, once your name is called off, then come up here and receive your gift, and we'll form a line down here. And if you can do your best to adjust as the line grows so that everyone has a spot to go, that would be wonderful. First we have Sam Alantaga. And Sam is still deciding what she would like to do for the next year. Monica Angel going to Eastern Michigan University studying Japanese. Katie Toch is going to University of Illinois to study biology as a pre-med student. Val Blackburn is going to JJC to study the culinary arts. Claudia Bogach is going to Northwest. It's out of order here. Okay. Z Blackburn is going to Augustana College to study music education and performance. Is it Claudia? Okay. Claudia Bogach is going to Northwestern University to study psychology and economics. Alexa Boland is going to Pratt University to study psychology. Carrie Klein is going to JJC to study agriculture education. Julissa Connolly will be studying at the University of Illinois at Chicago biology. Desi Dominguez is planning on going to North Central College to study engineering. Ariana Ensley will be going to University of Missouri to study animal science. Rachel Hampton she will be going to Carthage College to study theater and public relations. Jolie Hostetter will be studying at JJC, studying education. Stephen Kowalski is a loud person who's going to St. Norbert College to study history. Isabella Carlos is going to JJC to study welding. Olivia Kunzis will be going to JJC. We'll be going to JJC and then North Central College to study music education. Ian Marshall will be going to Northern Illinois University to study business and finance. Kenna Marisak will be going to Columbia College to study filmmaking. Tori Menert will be going to JJC to study biology. Danny Miller will be going to JJC to study psychology and music. Grass Miller. We'll be going to Grand Valley State University to study biochemistry and mathematics. Emily Padilla is going to Lewis University to study nursing. And Bianca Ray will be going to JJC, and she is undecided on what she'll be studying. Megan Staley. She hopes to go to Hope College to study chemical engineering and Spanish. Studying at Elmhurst College, music education. Jalen Strayer will be attending the University of Alabama nursing. Jennifer Burnell. And Anna Tardisilla. Physical therapy. Antonio Torres. He's going to NIU to study history, French, and Latino studies. Nina Vasquez will be studying music at Columbia College. Emily Vilk could not be here tonight, but we're happy to recognize her. And moving on to Rachel Ward. She'll be studying at DePaul University mathematics and French, although it says Mathematica in the program, which I like. Grace Watson. Grace is attending North Central College and she is undecided. Do music. Is always the last person, and will be studying at Northern Illinois University Secondary Education.
And one, what's that? We're just gonna leave it up for forever, yeah. Then, and one more round of applause for all the seniors. So don't run off at the end because we'll get one good picture, yeah? Before you all leave. Good. Here we go. Cool, yeah. Well, just go. You're already up here. Go. We have a couple of more awards, so don't hurry at all. I've enjoyed enjoyed working with. There's not an individual anywhere in that bunch that I would have said, oh, except for that one. This is a fantastic class, a group that I've loved to see grow, and a group that now is normally the part where you say good luck. I don't think that they're going to need it. They're hardworking, they're intelligent, they're sincere, and they're going to go on to amazing things. It's a little bit sad and a little bit exciting to know that they're going to be graduating soon, and that on Saturday they got to sing the last concert. It'll be difficult now for all of us, for Mr. Hendricks and I, and for all of the underclassmen, to fill the huge shoes that they're going to be leaving, and to take the auditorium there and to fill it with music in the same way that these people have, not just for 4 years in some cases, but whether it be during junior high, whether it be during after school, whether it be for in all the other experiences they've had there. So we just hope that that the experiences you've had in the choral program here at Lockwood Township High School have been something that will stick with you, and that you'll be able to continue to stay in music after you leave. And even if it's not something that you end up doing in your college or at a church or in a community or something like that, but we really hope that it's at least something that sticks with you when someday you're listening to the radio, or you're singing along with one of your friends, or that my favorite thing now is singing your child to sleep someday. That some small portion of what you've made here will be able to stick with you, because you've left a genuine legacy. And I've said this to many of the seniors, that the choral program goes through ebbs and flows, and it goes through waves of fantastic and maybe sometimes a little bit difficult. And I think this senior class came in their sophomore year and said, the choral program isn't where we would like it to be right now. This isn't the experience that we want others to have. And this senior class in every ensemble has said, we're gonna leave this program better than it was given to us. And I can say without a doubt, in every circumstance it is. It's better in numbers, it's better in quality, it's better in personality, it's better in sensitivity, it's better in care. It's a warmer, kinder, and more effective program now than it was when these seniors came in. And that's not because of me, that's not because of Hendricks, he wasn't even here. It's because of these seniors and the work that they've done, and the dedication that they've shown, and the selflessness that they've shown. And it's my pleasure to honor two of those students that I think were at the real driving edge of this. And one guy and one girl that I think have really dedicated themselves to making sure that that vision that they all saw was realized. And again, this could have been 25 different people, but I am excited to say that this year's the National School of the Choral Award goes to Claudia Bogach and Antonio Cole.
Okay, with that, we are just about ready to wrap up our evening. Just a couple of closing remarks from me, and then we can, you guys can get out of here. Thank you for a wonderful school year. Students, thank you guys for a wonderful school year on my part. I think Getz would say the exact same thing. It's just an absolute joy to work in such a thriving and beautiful program. I feel really lucky that I get to be a part of a program that's so large that even as the assistant choir director, I get to have a full-time job where I'm consistently challenged musically, where I get to do amazing things. And that leads me to say that this large of a program, this well-run of a program, wouldn't be possible without parents who are willing to put a lot of hours into getting students to and from rehearsals, into listening to me and Mr. Getz talk all night tonight, into the buying the supplies that they need for that. And I personally am really, really grateful to you parents who have helped out not just tonight, but also simply just getting your kids to and from school and to rehearsals. That means so much to us and to your kids. Even if they haven't told that to you, they're going to say that to you tonight, right? And thank you so much. Please, if you did not get the chance to get dessert, there is still some back there. So make sure you stop and get some of that on your way out, and have a wonderful night. Thank you, everybody.